Okay, hi everyone. I'm back from the lakes. It's been good and bad this month already. It's the 11th this morning, Monday. I got back on Saturday. I've been trying to sort a few things out since then. So I just wanted a quick update, just a weekly update today. Won't be too long. See on the screen I've got my odds monkey up, profit tracker. So you can see I've done £113 this month. Had a really bad 8 days in the lakes because I was just so struggling for signal. It was getting to the stage where it wasn't even worth doing anything because some things would work, some things wouldn't, and it wasn't even like certain times of the day. It was just just seemed to be random potluck whether you had a signal or not. And I was there to enjoy myself anyway, not sort of sit and do loads of work. But I was going to spend the mornings doing a bit in the van before going out exploring and having a few beers and stuff, but never materialised because I just didn't have a good enough consistent signal anyway. So I'm just going to run through where I'm at. You can see I've done £113. It's about £10 a day, excluding today. It's about £11 a day if you only include up to the end of yesterday. And you can see somewhere, if I can find, I got £45 top cash back from signing up to Corals, which was £50, but I only got 45 because I took a £5 membership fee out of that time of the year to take the membership fee out. So, because if you sign up to the Premier top cashback account, you get higher percentage deals and stuff, especially when you're signing up to bookies accounts. But I mean, nothing to be sniffed at, £45, and that's just one. I've still got a few in the pipeline, I think, ready to come through at some point. Saying that, this Coral one, I had to contact Top Cashback because it had been 5 months and I still didn't have it. It took actually nearly 6 months. It was a bit odd that when I did chase them, they said, yeah, I can take up to 6 months. Well, it had already been 5, and then sort of within a few days, I seen that it had cleared to be able to withdraw on the account. Anyhow, that's a quick look at odds money with regards to Betfair Bot Manager. You can see here, let's just cut off my face. I'll just disappear altogether because I'll make this full screen so I don't see it. This has been proper topsy-turvy. Don't know if you can see that, but I'll just hide it. You can see I'm £30 down for July already. And I'll go through these in turn, and I'll show you the main reasons why I am down. So you can see, if you remember my last video, I put 3 great performers from June into my A list, coloured them green, all great intentions and everything, and you can see what's actually happened. It's the 11th of the month, and the Tiny Nuts is down £8.94 when it was running at a complete profit all the way through June. The Pritch Picks has had a bad start to the month. If I drop that down, you'll be able to see some scary numbers up there. But the first 14 bets of the month lost, which was unprecedented. That had never happened in June. So we eventually got up to here where we put a £34 trade on at odds of 4.2, and it actually came in, which was about time really. So you can see there that was a profit of £108 on that one, so that brought it back down to just under negative. And then you can see since then, on the 9th, that these two, one lost and then one won again. So we're gradually clawing that back. Hopefully it won't pick up another run streak like it did. I was getting a bit fidgety around this point. These bets were being placed while I was away because this is a VPS server you're looking at now. Sorry, a VPS, a virtual private server, not a VPS server. So this runs 24/7 in the cloud somewhere. Meant to be in the UK, but I'm sure it's Hungary. But I need to sort that out because when I go into certain sites, it shows up Hungarian prompts. But I will sort that out before I actually start recommending any services, because this VPS is only about £5 a month, just over £5.29 or £5.39. I can't remember exactly. Certainly less than £6 a month, which is absolute bargain. It would cost you more than that to run your laptop or a PC 24/7 at home, especially with electricity prices. But I will investigate the Hungary side of things because I was told that it was UK servers when I signed up. Anyhow, that's that one there. So hopefully that'll start picking up. And as for mine, well, I had to turn it off. It kind of faltered the same way as the automatic one did. This is my own one. If you didn't see my last video, hopefully everybody did see the last video, just explaining some of these. But as you can see, you had a loss, a win, 2 losses, a win, 2 losses, 2 wins. So we were doing okay at the start. But obviously this one gets on a lot more because I haven't got as much strict criteria. But we've had just so many losses. And again, it went up to here. £54 we won there. And then what happened here was it went on another 3 losing streaks. Well, sorry, it went on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's £72 loss. I just called it a day and I switched it off. You can see there, I switched it off on the 2nd. This was all in the first 2 days, £72 down. Didn't really want to stomach that kind of hit, especially when I've got the one above, which is doing, well, it's meant to be well, it done slightly better last month. And hopefully it'll do better this month. But I just turned this one off. I hadn't went on and run like it. I did up the stake, the initial stake at £2 from £1 on all these from last month. In fact, I might change this tiny nuts 1 to 5. I can't remember. Oh no, it's 2 as well. £2. So yeah, I turned this one off like part way. Well, what's that? 8 o'clock on the second day. 8 o'clock at night on the second day. So I'd done more or less 2 full days, and I was £72 down. I probably would have made this back at some point, but it was just a horrendous run, and I thought I might as well try and cut my losses. So I've turned it off on that. I might turn it on with like 10 pence stakes again or something, but I just want to give you an update before I've done anything. I probably will do that, see how it gets on. There was also, even when it did try and recover, I wasn't recovering properly. You can see these 2 bets that I'm highlighting here. They're both for £21, and they're both on the same race at 5 o'clock at Leicester on the 2nd, and that didn't help because I was putting £20 on each horse. Whereas really, if I'd done it manually, I wouldn't have wanted to do that because the previous race lost £16. So I only wanted to put £21 on one horse. But because these were both course and distance winners, I think I mentioned previously, my strategy could get on 2 horses in the same race, which is okay when you're just betting 2 or 3 or 4 quid. But when you're putting £21 on each, only one can win. Luckily, one did win and won 51, but then one lost 21. Obviously, we can't both win. So I ended up losing 30. I only made £30 on that race because I had a plus 51 and minus 21, so I only made 30. So the strategy didn't actually, and then it starts from scratch again at 2 quid. Well, it only got back 30 quid of about probably, I don't know, quite a bit more than that in the way of loss. And I think I'd done it before that as well. The previous one was exactly the same, and I think it's just proper unfortunate that that's happening. I know, not that one. I can't see it now. I think there was another instance in there. Anyway, I wasn't very happy with it because that's another reason I stopped it. So moving on, just ignore these 5 blue ones, the ones beginning PR. That's just some research I'm doing with somebody's help. That's not doing too well this month either. I've been positive for the last sort of 6 months or so. It started off pretty poorly, 12 pence up, 13 pence up, and 40 pence down. So what's that, about 27 pence loss so far. I mean, I'm only putting 10 pence stakes on those because I wasn't sure the volumes aren't that high actually. You can see there's 7 bets, 3 bets, 7 bets, 1 bet, and 10 bets in the first 10 days. No, sorry, I've only been running that from Friday night. Sorry, apologies, yeah, Friday night, so that would have been about the 9th. So moving on, I'm going to skip the football ones because they're not doing very well. I mean, they were doing all right last month. I'm going to look at those in more detail. This one here, done all right last month. It's just getting on every 0, 0, 1, 0, and 0, 1. I need to hit the criteria again because it's obviously not working out when I'm getting on every game. That's 0, 0, 1, 0, or 0, 1 at half time, looking for a second half goal. You also need to look at some. I'll have to look back at the video that I was looking for that strategy because I think you had hit some like either first half stats where teams have had so many chances and whatnot, or you look at previous games, which you can do both in Betfair Bot Manager. So I will look back at that video and see what I can do. Even if I can't do the exact thing, I think I want to filter it down a bit more, because when I go in, I'm losing quite a few. You can see 3 in a row there, which is minus £1. And when you do win, you're only winning anywhere between sort of minimal, you're in anything from pennies up to about 50 pence max. So you need to win normally 3 or 4 to make sure for every one you lose. You can see on that screen there I've been doing that, but as I drop down, you can see there's quite a few good winning streaks, but then you get a few, you know, there's like 4 out of 6 there that I've lost. And I'm only £3.39 down, but it's put 603 trades on since the 1st of July. So I'd want to see a bigger return than minus 3. Even if it was plus 339, it probably isn't worth it for putting that many trades on. I mean, that's £603 worth of trades I've put on there for 603 in total. And we've won 76% of them, so I'd hope to have seen a plus there. So I might look at the recovery, some kind of recovery strategy, or like I say, try and limit the games. I look at some of these games where there wasn't a second half goal and see if there's any pattern as to why. But we'll look back at the video and see. First half heaven is, I mentioned it's goal profits, and I turned that one off pretty early doors, not because it was down. I won 5 out of 9 trades, but because it's more labour intensive than any of the others. All the others just run automatically. Even these 5 here pull in the tips on a daily basis, and so does the Pritch Picks pull in the tips on a daily basis. With the goal profits, you have to go into the markets and actually highlight which games you want to trade on. I was going to try and automate it, but I haven't had time to have a look at that yet, so I've just turned it off for now because A, it was labour intensive while I've been away, plus B, I didn't have a good signal to make sure I'd done it on a daily basis. I probably will have a look at picking that one back up, but when I turned it off, it was £2.41 down. The under 3.5 goals, not sure what's gone on with this one, because it was profitable last month again, and I've only won 50%, whereas last month that was about 77-78%. 146 down, so it's not too much, but when I look at the trades, some of them are a bit odd, like this one for example. This is where we lay in the 10th minute on the being under 3.5 goals. Sorry, under 3.5 goals, and then you back it at a high, well, ideally at higher odds, 5 minutes later, about 15 minutes later, and as long as there hasn't been a goal, the theory is, because of the time lapse, the actual price of being over 3.5 goals has gone up. So you should be making a profit, so you should be laying low and backing high. Now this one, yeah, I laid it 4.3. 5 minutes later, I backed it 4.3, so I lost 16.50, and then I made 16.50. You basically just you'll hear it called hedging out or greening up, and we didn't actually green up in this instance. We just cashed out for 0 profit. There's probably a multiple number of reasons for that. Things like I don't know, if like during the 5 minutes, if there was loads of attempts on target or loads of open play and free-flowing football and attack, and then you know the price wouldn't have went down, because there's still a good chance, the same chance as 5 minutes back, that would be over 3.5 goals in the game. This one here, this is a more typical example. You lay at £5 and then you back at 5.11. Oh, sorry, I lost that one. That's a losing one. I need to look at that one actually and see why. I thought that was the other way around. I laid at 4.6 and I backed at 4.5, so that's definitely the wrong way around. I need to have a look at that game. I don't suppose there was a goal went in, because the difference would have been a lot bigger than 11p, because I did have a proper losing one further down, which I am looking for. I lost 45 pence on that one. Sorry, 55 pence on that one. This Derby game, there was a goal in about the 14th minute, but unfortunately the corresponding entry's down here. So you can see I laid at £3.555, the Bradford Derby game, in the 10th minute, and in the 14th minute there was goal, and we exit in the 15th minute, which meant we lost £8.22, so we were £3.22 down there, and that's the only one of these 15 where there's actually, even though I've lost 3 trades, that's the only one where there's actually been a goal when I've been checking. So I lost £3.22 there, and there was a goal. So if I find a typical one, or what I call a successful one, not necessarily, well, it is a typical one, I suppose. So here's a one here. So in this game here, I'll not insult anybody by trying to pronounce the names. It looks like a Japanese game, looking at the names. We laid at 3.55 in the 10th minute, and we laid £5. And I'm laying £5 on all these. You can't lose the full £5 because even, like I say, when you come out after 5 minutes, you're going to lose £3-4 quid max, and it's still quite a high proportion of your £5. But chances of a goal going in between 10 and 15 is a lot sort of less than there not being a goal. So here we then, in the 15th minute, because there hadn't been a goal, the odds for over 3.5 goals had gone up to 3.65. So we cashed out, which means putting a back bet in, and all this is done automatically. You don't need to know about the back and the lays. So we actually made a profit of 11p on that one. So again, bearing in mind that was 11p profit, I don't think that's necessarily a typical average, but 11p profit on the basis if we do get a goal going in and we lose the trade, then we're going to lose 3 quid. It's going to take a lot of 11 pences to make up that £3 loss. And again, that's possibly why I'm £1.46 down here. So I'll move on past the football ones, and we'll get to the greyhound stuff. Now, this has been an interesting one until recently. It was doing really well until yesterday, and then I had a problem with 2 of them, which was this one, laid the 6th favourite with recovery, which is the issue, and this lay the 5th horse. I'll go on horses later though, but these 2 I had to reset, and I only reset those this morning because they went kind of AWOL. And when I say AWOL, what I mean is, if I go down here, you can see I'm back on 10p stakes here, which I was on 10p stakes all along. That's all you'll see on here is 10p stakes, because when I've had to reset the strategy, it took all the previous bets out, so I can't even show you what was happening. If I explain what was happening, basically, it had lost a bet, and so it went down to, like, say, minus a quid. Say if it was 10 to 1, I think it was minus 12 or 15, doesn't really matter. But then the liability, the safety rule, not the safety rules, the staking rules, we've got this in here. So I did have a maximum of £20 liability there, which I've moved down to 10 since I've restarted it. Now basically what that does, it tries to recover your previous bets, and it'll just keep increasing the price that it's putting on. And my safety rules were 3 consecutive losses, so I've changed that down to 2 as well to try and stop it earlier. Because what was happening was every single bet, it was putting about 2 quid on, which doesn't sound a lot, but multiplying it by the odds meant the liability was up to £20, and then it basically lost another bet. So then it was trying to make up the £20 every single bet, so it was putting like between £1 and £2 on every single trade, depending on what the odds were. So if it was like a 25 odds, it would be putting something like £1 on. If it was like, say, 13 odds, it was putting something like £2 on. But then the risk there is you're just putting the same amount on every single race, trying to recoup it, and so you're only going to, and it's trying to recover it back to its original position. I mean, this was about 50 quid up at one point, and it ended up about like I don't know, 6 or 9 quid up. So that's when I put a stop to it, because I thought, well, to make that much money back, because you're only putting £1 or £2 on at a time, yeah, you're going to have a hell of a lot of winning trades in a row. And you can see it's got 12 out of 12 at the minute, but before I restarted, it was down to 93%. So I just reset it. I just bailed out and reset it, because I looked at the pattern. This was happening since 11 o'clock yesterday, Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. And every sort of 10 to 20 races, there was a loser, and you'd lose another £20 because of the recovery rules stipulating that your liability is going to be sort of £20. I showed you there, which I've moved down to 10, so we'll only ever do 10 now, so it'll only be betting about 50p. But I'm going to try and catch it going forward, because when it gets into that kind of cycle, and I want to call it a rut, it's just simply going to keep trying to recover. And your profit and loss will always be £1 or £2 here, or minus 20, and the minus 20 happens, too often. You need a hell of a lot of pound. Well, you need £21 or £2 to make up one £20 loss. But then if you get a couple within a few bets of each other, then which can happen and will happen. And that's the same as what happened with Lear, the fifth favourite. So this one's restarted. Unfortunately, when you restart them by clicking this button here, it gets rid of all the historical bets and also takes this back down to 0 and pops the difference on there. Now, most of that loss was from last month. I was trying to find a way I tried to pause it initially to see if it would. I was trying to find a way to just reset the stake back 10p, but I just couldn't find a way to do it. I even tried to remove this rule here, which it did do. I removed that and it started putting 10p stakes on. But then when I got up this morning and had a look at it, as soon as I put this back in, it reverted back to its odds to try and recover, because in here, there's a total down here, and I think this was something like 50 or 60 quid, and you can't get rid of that. I can't see a way of getting zeroing that out. It's zeroed now because I've reset it, but this was minus 60 quid, so even when I turned this rule back on, I was remembering that £60 and then going straight back into a full recovery. It probably should, I'm not too keen on it, but there should be a way of, and there might be. I need to read the instruction manual or put something on the forum to see if I can get some support. I'd like a way where you can reset your staking level back to the initial stakes. Forget about the recovery. You reset the recovery, but not the whole strategy, because the whole strategy seems severe. What I'll probably do next time is I'll try and show you an example before I reset anything, because I'll reset the one further down as well. So moving on, we've got two backer favourites. I've got one at 10p with 11 cycle recovery, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. And I've got one similar, very similar, with 1p stakes and 15 losing cycles. So on this one here, you can see we've won 128 out of 299, which is only 43%. But what we're doing here is we're backing the favourite. Now, we all know the favourite doesn't always win. But the idea here is as long as it wins within 11 consecutive races, we'll make a profit. It's when it doesn't is the problem. So if I scroll down these list of bets here, you can see the red ones down here are the ones that I've lost. And then, so we had £16.40 on that one there, and it actually won. So that won 29, because it just increments the amount until you do win. That's where the 11 cycles comes in. After the 11th one, it'll actually pause the strategy, so you can have a little think about what you want to do, because you're in quite big money at that point, even though you're only starting off with 10p stakes. So if I go down, I'll see if I can find a long losing streak. See, there's not too many. That's quite a big one there. Apologies for the traffic. I've got all the windows open. I'm absolutely sweating in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 7 losing streak. And remember, I won't go to 11, so there's only 4 more chances. But luckily, we put £12.36 on that one. The good thing about these is we're always looking for favourites, so the odds are always quite low. So you're not going to lose. Your liability isn't as high as where you're laying. Remember that your lay, if you're putting £1 lay bet on something that's 50 to 1, then you're going to lose 49 quid. That's your liability. Whereas this, you're putting £12.36 down at 1.99, you're only going to lose 12.24, win 12.24. So you're going to lose your 12.36 if you're losing. You're going to lose your 12.24. Either way, it's about roughly 12 quid, because it's just evens. 2.0 is even, so anything under you're going to win a little bit less than what you put on. So if I move down, see if there's any more. There's quite a few greens. There's quite a few winning ones. The profit on this one comes in where you have like about 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 losses in a row, and then you have a big winner, because as long as the odds are good, like closer to 3 than sort of 1.5, then you're going to make quite a decent profit. You can see there we got up to we're doing 10 pence there, and started at 10 pence, and we got up to £6.39. We'll put on that one when we eventually got a winner. So that one's been doing okay. I haven't got a problem with that one. Just 10 pence stakes. I'll show some of the rules we've got. We only have one unsettled bet. That was where I had a problem with the 6 initially, but I've put that on now. It just means it won't it won't put another trade on another race until the previous one's settled. Because what you could find is you could have 3 or 4 open, and sometimes scuppers up the recovery. I had like on the lay of the 6, I had about 3 or 4 10 pence bets on. One of them lost, and then the other 3 won, and then it was the 4th race after that where I tried to recover the original one, and then that lost. And it's hard to then, I think the software has a struggle then to determine consecutive losses, because they're not actually consecutive, but in my mind they are, even though they're not, consecutive races. So the only difference is with the unsettled markets, you have to wait until they settle on Betfair, which means you can get on a lot less races than if you don't have that in. Selection conditions, we're only looking on this one, the 10p one, we're looking at odds between 1.01 and 3, so we'll never put a bet on a favourite if it's like over 3. So if you've got a dog in a race that's 3.5 to win the race and it's a favourite, it wouldn't place a trade. Staking's 10p, and then again we're doing a full 100% recovery, so if we lose the 10p, we're going in to win that back on the next race by increasing the stakes. Again, it does all that automatically, and we've gone up to a maximum of £20 liability. If any of these go Pete Tong like the rest did, I'll probably reduce this to 10, because then I'm losing less until I find it, because I haven't found a way of automatically stopping them other than pausing them. But that doesn't always happen if you don't hit the right number of consecutive losses. So again, your safety rules here, after 11 consecutive losing markets, pause the strategy. In which case I come in here, I say it's paused and it's placing no more trades. I have a look to see what's happened, so I can have a look at history. If you restart them, it loses all the betting history, which I don't see the point in. You can't go back and see what happened. This one's the same, but it's 1 pence, and I believe, I'll go up to 8 on this one, 1.01 to 8, so I'm not too bothered what the favourite price is, because it's only 1 pence, but I've got it at 15 cycles as well. So I'll see which one of these fails first. And you can see on this one we've only 140 pence. And that's because I had a problem at the start. I was putting 1 pence on. I've changed this one to 2 actually, even though it doesn't say in the time. I was putting 1 pence on, we were losing, like we lost 4 in a row there. There was 1 void. Don't know what happened in that race. But lost 4 in a row, and I was still just putting 1 pence on. I don't know if that's a rounding thing, because the number's so low and it's always like favourites. But to me, these prices here were 3, 3, 4, 2, well, nearly 3, and 3 again. So surely this should have been more than 1 pence here, because I lost 4 in a row and just didn't seem to want to increase the 1 pence. So I changed it to 2 to see if that made any difference. And you can see it's all the way up, it's just 1 pence. Even though the rules are the same as the previous strategy for increasing it for recovery. And then you see further up at some point, I'm just going up the list here. There you can see here, changed it to 2 pence. And it won. 2 pence lost. And then for some reason it went to 9 pence to win 5 pence. I'm not sure I get that. I need to look at this one more deal. I might just change it to 10 pence like the other one, because I'm just not sure if it's like a rounding issue with these low numbers. So obviously if you're staking 1 pence and it's under 2 odds, then you're not even winning 1 pence back. So I don't know what Betfair or Betfair bot manager does in regards to that. Anyway, that went up to 9 pence to win 5 pence, and it went back to 2. We lost 3, which was void, and then it went to 6. I don't really think that should have been 6. That should have probably been 3 to null out the voided one, unless the voided one happened after this one, maybe. 12, 24, 48, so you're up to 48 pence, and remember, and this only started on 1 pence, and 48 pence, and then, alright, okay, so that one, I don't get it, that one didn't even win, so it was 48 pence, and then decided to put a 2 pence one on. I don't get this one, and it might be because I haven't got the unsettled market conditions. No, I have. Since I say in the bottle only place maximum number of unsettled bets 1, so it won't place a bet if there's one unsettled bet there. I have no idea what's going on with this one. I'm going to have a look at this one in more detail. Maybe, like I say, maybe just put it up to 10 pence. It seems to have got knickers in a twist. Because the 2 pence left are 48 pence losing. The next one should have been about 136. That loss, it's gone down to 124. I think it's in like a bit of a rut, like I was saying on the other one. It's back, so 1,594 there. And now it's back down when it went to 2 pence loss, so it's 5 pence now. So I'll check these now, because that's the start of a sequence there, 2 pence, and then it's gone to 5 pence because that 2 pence one loss. I'll check it from there, but I haven't got a clue what's going on here. It looks like it seems to think it's recovered, and we're 40 pence up, so it's not in a rut as such that we're losing loads of money, but it's still only 40 pence. So back that B7 bet, and we started that the other day as well. And these are the horses. I'm not going to go into them too much. I'll go into those in the video. I think we lay the 4th off. I don't think they're that profitable considering how many trades it's putting on. Lay the 8th with odds of under 25 are doing okay. The Australian one's got into a bit of a mess. Like this is a good example of the lay the 5th and the lay the 6th dogs. You can see on every single trade it's putting £1 odd on well, in the region of like just under £1 or £1, and that's because it lost £11 here and it's trying to make it back. It's not only trying to make that £11 back, because it looks like it's probably made it back since. Just move down the screen here so you can see a bit more. It looks like it's made that £11 back if you add all those up, but it'll be trying to make up money, claw back money from prior. So you've got £1.80 there. Check. Hopefully that'll come back down to 10 pence soon, because it was 10 pence here. I lost £1.80 on there, and then to try to get 66 pence, they put 66 on 53. I think this one's got a limit of right. So I've got that down to 2 consecutive losses and the stake, and alright, £20 liability. So £11 and 180, that's about £13, £14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so it's done about 11 or 12 quid there. So it should only be hopefully 1 or 2 more trades. But obviously the problem here is every time these green ones are here, every time you put another trade on, you risk it crashing again and lose during recovery. I mean, these are okay and fine and dandy if you're just putting a standard level stake of 10p on, but when you're putting like 121 on, that's going to be anything up to like 20 quid loss if it happens. And then it's doing the same again, but 20 times to try and recover the £20 you've just lost. So hopefully this will get down to 10 pence again, and I'll let it continue. But you can see it's a lot lower than the 8th favourite in Australia. Sorry, this is the UK one. I thought this was the Australian one. I was looking at the UK one. That's gone a bit peaked on. That'll pick up again. Obviously, the 8th favourite is quite often way higher than odds of 25, so this doesn't get on as many races either. But if you're looking at the 8th favourite and don't restrict the odds, you could be looking at like something that's 101, and you put £1 on, you're going to lose £100 straight away if it actually wins the race. And this is the Australian one. And that's just doing 10 pence stakes. So I'm quite happy with that. It's just plodding along. So you can see it's getting, it's only 20-30 pence an hour, but add all them up, it's all doing the same. So this one hasn't had a loss for quite some time, so I'll go down until I find it. See, the other thing is you don't know if this is just luck or whether, Aussie racing might be the fact that the 8th favourite hardly ever wins. You can see it's 97%, whereas the UK one's 96, but it's faring a lot better than the UK just because of the pattern things come out. So it's probably just like, look what's happened. So you can see I put 10 pence on, we lost 125, and really it should try and recoup all the recovery in the next race. But you can see here it's split it into 3 races. So it's put 48 pence, 50 pence and 49 pence. And the reason it's split it into 3, look at all those won, otherwise that's where you start hitting the trouble. It goes back to 10p. The reason it's done that is because of the staking rules. I've got £10 as a liability. If I up that to £20, it would allow these 3. Typically that's gone back to the top of the list. If I up that to £20 from £10, then typically these would be like £1, and it would recover the money in like 1 or 2 races. It depends on what your recovery strategy is. Once I get a bit of a bigger bank, I probably will change the liabilities back to £20 and then just keep an eye. But even when I had the £20, it was still like what I'd call sort of in a rut, circling around this scenario here for umpteen trades to try and win back what it lost sort of 10, 20 trades ago, which isn't what I want, because sod's law dictates that you're going to have another loss. So anyhow, that's how we're getting on after, it was meant to be a week, but it's 10 days now. This is the 11th. You can see we're £31 down. At one point that was about £60 up and we were doing really well. I think that was like even just as recent as yesterday morning. I had a really good day on Saturday. Actually, I had a bad day on Saturday, but then Saturday night and Sunday morning were really good. So it possibly was even about £50-60 up yesterday lunchtime. It's just gone a bit AWOL with some of these since then. You can see this one. We've started it again. We did have a bit of profit, and then some of it's from last month. You've got your all-time P&L over here for them. So my all-time P&L, I'm £90 down, which includes, obviously must include about £60 loss as we were at the end of June. So that's where we're at. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Just a quick run through. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments. If you think I should be trying to get on any other strategy, put those in the comments. If there's any strategies you want to see, you know the drill, put those in the comments and we'll try and knock them up for you. I'll try and come out of this. Right, there we are, back. But yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers, thanks, bye.